Hey guys, today we'll be exploring Slovene subreddit, r Slovenia, where we will be reading about Slovene culture. Let's get started. The first post asks how Slovene culture differs from British and American culture. In Slovenia, we always take our shoes off when entering a home, even if the host insists you should keep your shoes on, because they need to vacuum anyways. They need to insist at least 3 times before you comply. That is actually so true. Another thing is that in Slovenia, the host usually has a basket full of slippers prepared for the guests that they will insist you put on, even if you're okay with just wearing your socks. And I have never entered anyone's home with shoes on. So yeah, it is preferred that you do wear slippers instead of your shoes. Even though they will probably say, oh, it's okay, you should still not do that. Okay. He continued the comment saying, also, drought, as in wind blowing through the apartment house, will kill you. That is something that happens when you have 2 windows open at the same time, and then your grandma or your mom will come in and she'll be like, oh no, you'll get so sick, you'll get a cold, close the window. Because you're not allowed, they think that you're going to get sick, so they don't want you to do that. It's a very big fear of them. Or even opening 2 windows while in the car, things like that. They think that it will get you sick or even kill you. The next commenter said, I'm a Slovenian woman who was born in 1990. I can't remember ever visiting someone and not being offered at least cookies or chips. We always offer food and drinks when somebody comes over. Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that, but I think that that's a part of most cultures, I would assume. I've never been in any foreign household either where I wasn't offered food and drinks. Others have mentioned it before, but we 100% take our shoes off. We already talked about that. And the hosts will usually offer you slippers. We keep several clean pairs at home in different sizes. Yeah. They always have slippers of different sizes, but for me, they always have either child-sized slippers because I'm the youngest in the family. I'm among the younger people in the family, or they have very big slippers. So yeah, there's never a good size for me. Anyways, people might not be openly racist, but older generations, if from smaller town, will stare at black people or other people who are visibly foreign. That's true. I know some people who are not white and not Slovene, but have visited Slovenia, and they all say people in Slovenia do stare heavily at them and intensely, and they don't even try to hide it. I think in Slovenia, it's already a part of our culture that people get in other people's business, at least for older people. Older people stare and they know everything about you, even though they never spoke to you. I chit chat with a lot of people in my neighborhood, and you can get a lot of information about everybody just because they are always staring through their windows at people. And yeah, especially when there's somebody from a different race, they will stare. Even it's not, sometimes it can be racism, but usually it's just them seeing that somebody is a different race, therefore most likely foreign, and therefore they will stare because they're trying to see what's going on, who is this person. And yeah, I've seen it firsthand. Okay, Also, people will occasionally get annoyed with people who moved to Slovenia from ex Yugoslavia if they never integrated or learned the language. Okay, yeah, that is true. I think that we do have a lot of people from ex Yugoslavia countries who don't learn the language, and therefore, a lot of people in Slovenia are not happy about them. I think that I've never had issues with any people like that. I think the younger generations, all of my younger friends who came to Slovenia to study and then decided to stay, they ended up learning the language. But in the older generations, yes, it is common that they sometimes, not always, but sometimes they don't learn the language, and therefore there are some people in Slovenia who do get annoyed with them, or sometimes they even say something hateful. I don't agree with it because I know Slovene is hard. I think that everybody should put effort into learning, but yeah, it is a real thing. Okay, we will sit down, order a coffee, and then talk for like 2 hours. That is true. My friend and I, we would go to coffee shops while we were in college, and we had a lot more time. And we would just sit there, sometimes up to like 4 or 5 hours. It was very common because they don't do anything about you being there. They just kind of let you. So we would order one coffee and just sit there and talk and talk and talk. Okay. Most people speak several languages. In my part of the country, close to Austria, those languages are usually English and German. But schools, especially gymnasia, you go there age 15-ish, 8 to 18-ish, if you want to go to university, also teach Spanish and French. In some parts, closer to Italy, you might come across people who speak Italian, but basically most people under the age of 50 will typically understand and speak at least basic English. Yeah, that is true. I speak, I would say, 4 languages. I speak Croatian, English, German, and Slovene. And that's like normal here. It's not something people are like, wow, about. Nobody, if I say that, everybody's like, okay, whatever. What? Like, but when I'm in the US and I tell people, oh, I speak all these languages, they're like, wow, you must be so smart. No, it's normal here. I'm also from the part close to Austria. That's where I grew up. And we learn German here from a young age. I actually grew up watching German TV. A lot of kids grew up watching English TV, but I learned English later in my life than most kids. But yeah, it's very common, at least 2 foreign languages, if not 3, at least to the point where you can have a basic conversation. But most people under 50 know English. Okay, we go to Croatia in the summer. Yes, that is also true. We do go to Croatia every summer. That is very typical of Slovenia. Even now that Croatia is getting more expensive, a lot of people still go there. After a while, I'm kind of tired of Croatia, but then again, Croatia is very beautiful. I spent, until my adulthood, I spent every summer there, but then I kind of stopped going because I'm not that much of a vacation person. And yeah, it is very common that in the summer, Croatia is filled with Slovenes. We joke about being jealous of what the neighbor has, but it's kind of true. Yeah, it's very common that people have an issue with jealousy, or especially when it comes to car. Your neighbor has a new car. It's very common for people to be very jealous, not well-meaning. I think that's an issue that we have and we have to work on. The neighbor has new renovations and you're like, ah, because you don't have new renovations, you don't have the new car, so you're jealous. It's human, but I think the way people do it, some people are malicious about it. It's not good. We have to work on that. Okay. People in retail and restaurants won't always smile at you. That's true. In Slovenia in general, I feel like those people are a lot of times overworked and underpaid, and it's silly to expect them to like do extra. But I don't like it when they're rude for no reason, because I always try to be nice. But yeah, it's not like in the US where people will be like, "Hi, how can I help you?" and smile at you. No, people are like, "Is that all? Okay, bye. Hello, is that all? Okay, bye." you know, they're not very talkative and very outgoing. Okay, some towns are super into football. Football meaning soccer, by the way, not American football. Maribor, for example, which is my hometown, and there's this, in sports and otherwise, rivalry between Maribor and Ljubljana that's been going for ages. We love winter sports, ski jumping, skiing. Yeah, so the thing about football, all of my childhood, every kid, every boy wanted to be a football player, and the whole Maribor and Ljubljana thing. I grew up in Maribor and I did live in Ljubljana as well. And it is true, when you say something nice about Ljubljana in Maribor, people will be so offended. I grew up knowing all the mean things to say about Ljubljana people, and it's not even from my parents, but like the kids at school were saying things like that, and it's all because of some kind of sports rivalry. Whenever you say something nice about Ljubljana in Maribor, yeah, it's not a good thing, and um, people will get very offended. Yeah. And we do love winter sports. I think that we're pretty good at it. I'm not big on sports though, so I don't know. Okay. You don't sit on cold surfaces because you'll get a wolf in the ass. If you're a girl, older woman will tell you to cover your kidneys so they don't get cold. Older generations will always tell you to avoid droughts. They think you'll get sick from those too. Okay, yeah, that's true. If you sit on cold surfaces, my parents would always tell me, or my grandparents and my parents would always tell me, "Oh, you're gonna get sick, you're gonna get a cold." The same thing with covering your kidneys. So if you wear like a crop top and your kidneys are exposed, the part where your kidneys are, people will be like, people will tell you, "You're going to get sick, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, yeah, people will always tell you, or they're gonna tell you, "You're not cold." Yeah, especially older generations. And um the droughts thing, like we spoke about before, if you have two windows open, people will think you'll get sick. Okay, we have a lot of different dialects, even though it's a small country. Yeah, every town you go to, people speak vastly different, to the point where if people speak in their dialects like full on, there's a lot of words and a lot of phrases you won't even understand. The dialects are very different, especially some like Prekmurska dialect, I think, is very difficult to understand for me. So yeah, there's different dialects. A lot of people don't like it when you say Slovenia is Eastern Europe or part of the Balkans. Yeah, that is a debate going on for such a long time. People will tell you we are a part of Balkans, we are a part of the Eastern Europe, but some people will tell you we're not a part of those things, we're Central Europe, we're different. People think that being a part of it or not being a part of it means something. It doesn't really matter because to me, like, it doesn't change anything. But people get very offended over this topic for no reason. So just to be safe, say Slovenia is in Central Europe and never say Eastern Europe. Yeah. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this type of video because I may make more in the future. We'll see. And I'll see you next time.